I think the stream's on just a little delay here. Hello, everybody. There we go. Yeah. Sorry, just getting set up.
Hello.
Welcome, everybody.
Where's the camera? Oh, Wes is the camera.
Wesley's the camera. Yeah. We have a camera person today so that you don't have to watch us POV style through the dizzying sort of like golfing maneuvers. Let's just go around and introduce ourselves really quick. I'm Lucas Martell. I was the main creator and sort of like the EP creative director now for Walkabout Mini Golf.
I'm Henning. I design the levels, make the gameplay work.
Yeah.
And I'm Edward. I'm the modeler for about half the levels and the collectibles, like the putters. So I make the things pretty.
Yeah. And you were modeling lead on this course, so you had your work cut out for you, because this is probably the first course I think we've done that we created pretty much everything from scratch. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That's
some
the
of
big
the
thing about this one.
trees.
there were a couple of
Some of
trees
the
maybe that
trees.
weren't. Yeah.
Yeah, everything else was custom made. It was a really interesting process. For this level, we started pre-production when we were expanding the team and everyone was transitioning to using Blender. So we used it as a great learning tool that a lot of the some of the assets were made by the crew as they were learning Blender as a sort of learning practice.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of things like these sort of swirly gumdrops, the jawbreakers, candies and such, made by people as they learnt, which was a really
This was a good
cool
one
way of
for
getting
that because
everyone up
there
to scratch.
Yeah, it was a really good time for that. Just because doing all these, usually everything that we have to build for levels is a bit more intricate, or it just requires things to fit together a bit more closely. So, yeah. So I'm going to keep an eye on the stream and can answer questions if folks have them. We're just going to kind of play around and, yeah, just chat through stuff. And we're hoping, we're not certain that if Chris Reyman, the composer, is able to, he might be able to drop in for just a little bit. So we're saving one spot for him here. Awesome. Hey, Gov. Oh, this is, yes, camera person. Everyone is a big fan. I am too, because last time I was trying to manage the stream while also sort of like trying to read the comments and everything. So, oh, this is living right now. We just get to chill out and play a little bit of golf. Well, one thing that we can probably chat about a little bit while we're waiting on questions to come in. That was a great start. So Henning, this whole course was pretty much your idea. You had the idea, you hatched it, you did pretty much like all of the initial figuring of it out. Did you have any
Championed it.
Yeah.
Thought Sweetopia would work. We originally thought it was going to be for Christmas, but then it took longer. So we had to do Valentine's Day instead.
And we still missed Valentine's Day by a couple of days because of half the team has gotten COVID at some point, and there was all sorts of, of just fun, different things going on.
That is why we never explicitly say when a course is coming until it's ready. People are always asking on the Discord about the next course, and we're terrified of disappointing people.
Indeed.
We're getting there, but we're just so small still that it's, if something goes wrong, and we've grown quite a bit. We're up to, I think there are now almost 16 people on the team. So it started off, it was just, I had pretty much did almost all of it myself. Tad, one of the early folks who did some of the tourist trap modeling, he had, he's not back on the team, but he's just getting wrapped up with Blender right now. So we've got some old folks, some new folks, but yeah, so a lot of, even this course though is not completely showing off the full team, because like I don't think that, well, I guess Don had a little bit of stuff in here, but this was like right at when Don was first coming on. This is probably the closest we've had to the full team, yeah. But,
this is it's been a really fun one getting everyone to work together and produce things in a more sort of group manner. Oh, that was a lovely shot.
That's it's like almost like you designed this or something
Thank
for
you.
your own good performance on a live stream.
Designed that little hole right there to get through. Just me. You can't have it, Lucas.
Well, clearly none of us can.
We did have a question SD on here. If it was there was any inspiration from Dr. Seuss and Whoville and all that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know
Seuss.
how much. Henning, did you pull some from that a little bit?
Well, especially when... Oops, sorry, Wes. Too close there. Especially when we started working on the factory, Zach pulled in a lot of Dr. Seuss. He was... I didn't think of Seuss as the original inspiration for this, but then Zach showed me some stuff. And we started adding bloopy pipes everywhere and these fun Seussian railings and things like that, and the cattywampus gates and things like this.
Just generally going in that direction of more whimsy. Nothing is at a right angle. Everything is all very everything is very curvy, and this was also I think the first level that the first and not the last. We do it in other little places, but this is also the first time that we've used a couple of other tricks. Like there's a lot of objects that have reflection on them. Even like the gummy bears have like refraction. I know Craig worked really hard, but it also became a real challenge to get everything optimized for this level. We lost a couple little cool things along the way. I know. Yeah. At one point, he even had everything sparkling with like sugar crystals and stuff, and it just could not handle it in VR. So
it was either sugar sparkles on everything or nothing. At one point, for performance reasons, we had to lose it.
Designing for this game, we tend to have pretty intense requirements of sort of poly count performance. It's funny that while the game is known for its low poly style, we have some of the highest poly counts of any game running on Quest in real-time VR, because we have such a simple material and things can combine together, and we really sort of lower our draw calls. So, a scene on Quest might... Well, that was terrific.
Nice shot.
Might... I'm just so talented, I don't know how I do it. A scene in a standard Quest game might have up to 50 to 100,000 polys, where generally you'll be in small spaces, so they can fit a lot of detail in. Whereas we can see the whole level at once, and everything is visible, and we can have up to say 600,000 polys in a level. And it's really interesting that for this one, we knew we were going to do different materials. We knew it was going to be a lot of smooth shading. So we said, all right, team, let's have the lowest poly count ever. Let's make this really reasonable. And to make it easy on our technical artist who does all of the polishing. And then we went and had one of the highest poly counts ever and ruined his life.
Did it end up?
It was great.
Oh, shoot.
It's not that high.
It's sprinkles.
high-ish.
Yeah. Inner Princess does have is wondering if you're okay, Edward, just because he's noticed your tendency to hide bodies everywhere in all the courses.
Yeah, look,
Not to that hole yet.
Care to comment?
I'm just thinking, there's no mental health professionals watching the stream, so yeah, no, everything's totally fine.
It's just funny. Of course, the Sweet, you gotta have some darkness to it.
It's funny.
I would imagine. Oh, go ahead.
You can't see because of the lighting we put on down there to give it that wonderful glow, but he's made of candy. I made him specifically be sort of like made of sort of pink gummy stuff, wearing a different sort of candy, in the hopes that it would be less dark. That it's, in my mind, it was like the candy workers were made of candy, or maybe it was a new person product. I don't know. Whenever you're like, thinking of peckish
where do you think
cannibalism.
sugar skulls come from? Sugar skulls have to come from somewhere, and that's the that's
But it's
where
so
they
much
put all the
more
bodies of the
enjoyably
sugar skull.
dark. Now that it's just like,
I,
oh no, it's just
I
a
like
dude.
dark. Willy Wonka was dark. I like it.
Eh,
Willy Wonka was straight up terrifying. They
should have had the corpse floating down the chocolate river.
Oh, that would have been great.
might
Yeah.
have. Augustus, no!
Look, if you're gonna make taffy, you're gonna lose a few candy workers.
And the taffy.
Oh yeah. So, someone had just pointed out on the stream that the stream is only getting it's getting pretty low FPS. It's only getting like 10 FPS for some reason.
Oh.
So Wesley, I don't know if there's anything at all that can be done there, or if it's just the stream is freaking out. Someone had also was asking about Gravity Sketch. Yeah, we're still using Gravity Sketch quite a bit in all of the design. It always seems to sort of be a interesting mix. Like on this course, we always want to use it more, and then there are always certain things that we run into that just don't. You just really need to get more fine-tuned, and so we usually end up going into Blender and doing a decent bit, but we're trying to use it as much as we possibly can. Ooh, that's a heartbreaker. But yeah,
We'll have
we
broken hearts
especially are
together.
using it a lot early on. In fact, I think even with this one, we started using it like almost right at the very, very beginning, where I think this one, Gravity Sketch, was one of the first things that you did, Henning. I think you just sketched like a very rough map, right? But then you pretty much moved into Gravity Sketch right away.
This was birthed on that design retreat in August in Austin. And yeah, I just holed up away in my bedroom for quite a few hours on Gravity Sketch for the initial of this one. Usually I do a few more drawings first.
Yeah.
This one was straight into 3D.
The more organic the course is, seems like the easier it is to get into, to jump into Gravity Sketch earlier on and just start moving stuff around and making some rough shapes. Especially this one is so... Hold on, hold it. Hold that grip. Did I make it?
It'll go.
There we go. Well played.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I feel like if you're designing in VR, there's so many lessons we have to learn for designing spaces in VR as compared to, traditional 2D or rather, computer screen based games. And the best thing you can do is work on them in VR, so you can just look around and see, okay, that works, that doesn't work. It's just got to be the most efficient way of doing it.
Yeah. I think one of the other tricks that we've kind of found that we've started doing a lot more of is, even when you're doing it in VR and we're using Gravity Sketch and it's still just a very sketchy, is I guess the best way I can describe it, is just that you've got a very, you can start laying down shapes really, really quickly. The tough thing is that if you haven't thought through it beforehand, it's still very, very easy to get yourself in a place where stuff doesn't quite fit, or it just doesn't sort of like have a larger design to it. So I know one of the things that we've all started doing more of is like in Gravity Sketch, we'll just do like wireframes where we're literally just like taking like the pencil or the ink tool and just drawing a line of like, it's not, you don't even see a mountain, you literally just see like the one sort of like the outline or like a wireframe of the mountain, just because it's so fast. Yeah. It really helps to just sort of like have that rough 3D, just like you would do a pencil sketch and then start polishing it. That's been one of the other things that we've kind of learned is a really critical step, because you can get lost in the details pretty quickly.
That makes sense.
So, yeah.
It's funny that, purely speaking on an architectural level, because nothing was straight, nothing had even lines, this entire level in terms of architecture in Blender was mostly done using sort of curves and lattices. So everything was modeled really sort of straight and dull, and then I just sort of morphed everything, which is the great thing about working in 3D is that you can do that sort of stuff and really squish everything up to make it feel a bit more
Nice shot.
helter-skelter.
Thank you.
But it's, you know,
Right. Build it
it's funny because
straight
this
first
also
and
went through a
wonk it
lot
later.
of... Yeah, this also just went through a lot of revisions, more so than any other level I feel like we've recently worked on. Sort of like Babylon and Shangri-La. But when they got to me, they were just perfect, and I just had to sort of redo over them. But this one we did a lot of massaging, various sort of color schemes and sort of sight lines, because being so full of so much bright stuff, it was very, very overwhelming. Early days.
Yeah, it's actually kind of difficult to balance so
down a
much
little bit.
color and keep it still feeling. We pushed it more pastel and more into the pink range, which helped. But yeah, we just had to kind of, even though it feels so saturated, we actually had to desaturate it a lot from where it was so that it didn't become too overwhelming.
Yep, and we divided up each area into distinct colors, so it starts blue and gets sort of purplish, pinkish, reddish, and then goes through yellow, greens and yellows. In the next area, which really helped a lot. And it's fun, you see people online go, oh, I just wish there was just a little bit more oomph to it. And I'm going, you don't know what you're asking. That's a headache incoming, guys.
Yeah. I'll grab a couple questions here, but I just wanted to comment while we're playing this hole. This was one that took a lot of figuring out. Just getting the physics just right so that the ball would be able to roll all the way around. It seems very simple, but it's actually a pretty tough model that we took a couple of cracks at it, I think, before we finally got it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I thought I had it in Maya, but it was just too tough to get the final form of this without Blender. This, like we said before, this is when I started in Maya and then transitioned to Blender. That was part of the headache.
I mean, you say that, but Lucas, do you want to reveal what this was modeled in?
What's that? Oh, yeah, well, the spiral? Sure, soft homage. Yeah, I'll give it up. Whenever I have... I was a soft homage person, which I don't think that most people watching... But no, I'm proud. I'll fly my soft homage flag high. My flag high. I don't think most people probably don't even know what that is anymore. It's been discontinued for 7 years now, so... But... I've used it so much that when I need to do something really technical, I'll hop in and do it. So,
We knew
yeah,
this hole
sorry guys,
had
we're
to
working
work.
on the
It's
frame rate.
perfect-
We're seeing if there's anything we can do to get that better on the stream. I know Wesley's on it here. But yeah, we had a couple of comments on the music. I'll save those in case Chris is able to join. There was also, someone was there, so I don't think there's a body on every course, is there?
No, but you realize now that there's going to be.
I think we might have to go back and add them now, yeah.
I mean, I've got so
that
many
could-
I
that
need
could
to
become
dispose
next.
of. This is fine.
So many digital skeletons in your closet.
The level that I'm currently modeling, which, you know, zipped lip, I've just realized there's like 80 places to hide corpses, so it might just become a thing that I'm not even limiting to one. We're just having loads in that one.
Oh yeah, there was also a question there about, so this course doesn't have the little black dots. That was partially because we kind of went with a different look for the greens that was more of this sort of like white, almost sort of like someone took, sprinkled like confection sugar over everything. And it's something that once we did that, the dots didn't work quite as well. But yeah, the greens on this course actually went through a couple of rounds because they are different than the textures and stuff that we use on the other courses. So yeah, for all the trick shotters, I know a few people are missing those, but maybe we'll add something like that down the road. But luckily, that's something that we can add that people won't complain about. Yeah.
You can still find big white dots on these if you really look.
And just before we move on, my favorite fun fact, which I've talked about extensively on my Twitter, the gummy bears. These were like the first thing I modeled and I'm borderline obsessed with them. And when we first
Yeah.
did them, not quite sure of the exact stylings, I modeled them to be much cuter, closer to a cartoon bear rather than a traditional gummy bear, which we ended up going back on and making them more traditional looking despite the outfit. But the thing is, the original gummy bear had a massive bum. It had a huge, juicy, beautifully sculpted butt, and
I know you were very sad to lose
regret
that.
I have. Yeah, we had to. I mean, I could have put them on these, but it just didn't feel right. It felt like a transfer.
No, it was,
but
especially in night mode, it felt real dirty. So
yeah, it was with the night mode music, which is wonderful, and I love it. But it is a little wow, 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 wow.
I guess since we're talking about it, we'll wait, and Chris will probably come in soon. Oh, get in. No. But yeah, the night mode music was a very sort of last minute add because we had the day music on for quite a while, and we only realized about a week before release that it just wasn't fitting, because the lighting had come so far and had become so much more neon, I think, than we were expecting. I mean, we had always pushed it in that direction. I think it just went a lot further than we thought it would. So yeah, we kind of needed to up the music game and change it around for that. So that was literally Chris put that together in like less than 24 hours and got it into the game. So I hope that he's able to join us for a bit. Mm-hmm.
He's so talented.
Oh yes, I see some requests. Inner Princess, yes, we all need more core strategy guides. Even I need more core strategy guide. I love those videos. I feel like I learn more from watching those sometimes than even from all the times that we play the game while we're testing.
Absolutely.
As you can see,
nice.
core strategy
Saved
guide.
it.
Oh.
Well, at least
Fantastic.
Edward, you can always blame the fact that you're in Australia and it's like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. there, so at least you have good excuses.
Yes, I definitely play like this only in the morning and not all day.
Yeah.
Fun thing about
everyone's
this
coming
whole people asking early on, people always want to see hints about the next course, and I thought I was being really clever. I took a screenshot from under the ground where all you could see was just a bunch of circles. It looked sort of like a random mess, like there'd been sort of an error in production. And straight away, people on our Discord just went, "Oh, it's candy." And I thought, "Oh my god, I've ruined it. Oh no."
That's why we're not putting any more, we're not teasing the next one. So,
Yeah.
I did see a couple requests on there. Someone was asking about where to submit ideas for courses features. The Discord is really sort of the hub of all of the, where we all hang out and so many players and everything. So there's a place for ideas and suggestions and everything. I've said it before, but for folks who are just watching this for the first time, we've got a list of, I think, over 100 courses that we want to do, could do, just sort of all the different ideas that are sort of floating out there in various sort of states. So by all means, recommend stuff. Without giving anything away, there are a couple that I know that folks have asked for that are in the pipe. Just know that we currently have 9 courses in production, and in a couple of weeks we're starting to figure out what the next 3 to 4 are basically going to be. So we've started stuff that won't even come out until 2023. Because what we're finding is that the courses, now that the team has expanded, the courses take longer to do. They take about 9 to 12 months in order to do a course from start to finish, but there's also 9 to 12 sort of like in process at any given time. So that's one of the nice things about having the larger team. There's just a lot more things sort of like going on, but everything has to more slowly work its way through the pipeline.
But with a better result.
So
I think based on my previously discussed proclivities, that we should do a morgue.
Oh, a morgue should be the next one. We've had a lot of requests for Halloween stuff. I will like. We do not have sort of like an explicit Halloween one in the pipe right now. We definitely want to do a couple of things like that, but I don't think we're going to get to it this year because that's the tough thing. Is sort of like we have to start thinking about Christmas,
Halloween
now. Yeah, so we already kind of missed our window for Halloween a little bit.
Yeah,
It's a little mind-boggling to.
2023.
Yeah, exactly. We need to in 3 months. We need to start talking about Halloween 2023. So yeah, we're going to be doing courses for quite a while here. Ooh, nicely done.
People keep asking for a haunted house, and that's that'd be delightful. I'm a big fan of Halloween, which is funny because the rest of Australia is not. But I've always thought any excuse to take candy from strangers is marvelous. So, yeah, I'd love a Halloween course.
This was a
releases Halloween.
This was the whole candy factor. I feel like is from a design standpoint was awesome. We got to really use a couple of game mechanics that you haven't seen anywhere else. I don't think, Henning.
Right. Well, just the moving objects are always tough, and I put them in a factory just for added difficulty. Yeah, the stopping and starting motion, I guess, could be called new. But then this giant taffy wheel that's really intimidating in your face.
Yeah.
Don't have anything else like that yet.
Yeah. Although, I don't know if I told you, I don't even know if you ever played it. It does remind me a lot of, there was one level in Laser Mazer, which is one of the other games that we had done like several years ago. But there's a couple where you basically have lasers in that exact configuration that you're sort of like walking between.
Oh my god.
It reminds me a lot of that.
Way.
Yeah,
I had an amazing trick shot on this when we were testing something, where I just like gently tapped it down, and then yeah, it was like that, except it knocked it straight into the hole for me. It was
Pushes it.
if only I would have captured it for like our behind the scenes stuff. If only like the lighting hadn't been like completely broken when I was testing the gameplay, because we were like in between some light testing stuff.
You gotta wait for the long one, and then yeah.
Oh, that's
There's
true.
one section where it just stays in your way for a long time. You have to avoid that. That's pretty much it.
All right. I now know.
Let's see. I had a couple of people asking about, license crossover. So I'm not going to give anything away or say what anything is, but we are actually going to be announcing something before too long here on the license course thing. So just stay tuned, because we've got some fun stuff to announce, but we're not ready to do it quite yet. So we gotta make sure everything is nice and ready before we say anything more. But yeah, we're doing some stuff in that direction, so we can't wait to let you guys know about that. There's also a question about DLC packs. We are going to do some packs right now. There's just a decent bit of work that we need to do from a technical standpoint, and some platforms have better packaging or ways of putting stuff together than others. So we still need to just sort of like work out some tech things, and then I think we'll definitely do a pack with all the Lost Cities courses. The trick is, though, I don't think that several platforms don't necessarily have a way of knowing what courses you've got. So if you bought one of the Lost Cities courses, buying the pack isn't necessarily going to, like, there's no way for us to know a DLC sort of like which ones you've gotten. And there's a couple of different things that we can do, but it's a very tricky thing. So there will be some DLC packs, but probably not anytime soon. We're very much getting into this one course, aiming for one course a month cadence that is just going to be really, really nice once we're fully in that stride.
There you go, Ed.
Whee!
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just as we leave
Go
the
ahead.
factory,
Go ahead,
I
Rick.
would like to take the time to note that this was just about the hardest thing I've ever had to model. It took like there's sort of if you divide up the amount of time working on the level, half of it went to the factory. It was just a really weird shape with lots of really weird shapes inside, and
yeah.
because of the suffering, it's brilliant and beautiful, and everything worked out delightfully. I just want a model of it on my desk. But
That's interior spaces are always they're about 5 to 10 times harder to model, just because when you're trying to navigate around in Blender specifically, so much harder. That is one area where I feel like doing it in VR, like in Gravity Sketch, the fact that you can have your head in there and still, you know, you could basically be looking around and sort of working around you in a much more efficient way. However, that just doesn't work as well for the architectural stuff like this, where you need things to be right angles and nice and, you know.
yeah, and that's got a lot of curves and tubes and all sort of moving any which way and what. It's great, and I love it.
So, someone was just asking about the pool shot thing. I'm gonna try it here. I've never actually done it, so this is the perfect place to try it. You know, I'm personally.
I think you gotta get closer than that.
Yeah, but I'm trying to sort of like get the whole. There we go. I personally don't have too big of an issue with it, but I have grip to putt on. Oh, that is nice. I've never actually done that before.
Cool.
Yeah. I suppose.
Okay,
I guess I'm curious. Like, do people find that? Is there any more accuracy that you get? I suppose you get a really good line on it because you're staring straight down the barrel of where you're shooting, probably. I think you've got to do it more sort of like with the toe pointing up. If you go sideways, you're going to get a funky angle off of it.
All right. Well, if everyone's doing it, I want to be popular. So.
Oh, sorry, Nate. I just saw the question there. We talked a lot about the dead body earlier, so. So we're just we've already addressed the elephant in the room. Ooh.
Yeah, that's about.
I could
that's
see
about
how
well
you
I
could
putt
get some.
generally.
Yeah, that seems accurate. I could see some people, getting like an extremely accurate line if you really practiced it. So like for really long putts that have to be right in a line, I could see that being the thing. In general, kind of something that, I mean, this is more sort of me on the, just chatting through like the, wow, who put all those, are they sprinkles or are they, I guess they're sprinkles because it's a donut. A couple people have called them like Mike and Ike's, but.
Oh yeah, kind of in between that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I always get it on the first shot. I never had to deal with it in the middle.
You've never had to deal with the aftermath of your own creation?
Of missing my first.
Mm-hmm. That was
Flawless.
Did there used to be
perfect
a shortcut there?
There
Some
was
people
if
said
you
you
had gone
could
off the
still do
backside.
it.
Well, you could do it, but I think I put that sprinkle there to make it more difficult, but there is a spot, and now you can probably hit it straight back in there to get it in. Yeah, you could probably go right off the edge there, now that you're lined up for it.
Perfect.
I mean, not like that, but... Wait, this is a part 2? This is a... Oh, wait. What is this one? Oh, wow, it is a part 2, yeah.
Yeah, it's part 2.
Mm-hmm. I guess, though, because you just have to get it to that ramp.
Yeah.
So...
For a reasonable player, getting in 2 shots instead of 6 is totally fine.
Yeah, I guess I usually get it in 1 about half the time. So... Yeah, the pars are always a contentious issue, as we're discussing those, and especially like with the beta players and everything. That's probably something we spend the most time going back and forth on. What should be, what, you know, sometimes people find solutions that we actually have to like block off almost. Like
And then
they'll find
sometimes
like
we
on that
reward
last hole
those.
there was a shortcut that was just too easy that no one would actually play the hole the right way. We would try to make it so that we don't necessarily try to stop people from doing those trick shots, but we want to make it that they're at least more risky. That, you know, if you're going to do something crazy, that it's not going to be the way that everyone prefers to play the hole.
Yeah.
Oh, get in there.
I mean,
Nope.
it's funny because this level we tried to make it purposely a little bit easier than some of the other levels, more forgiving, because it's the candy level, and we figured it would be, you know, played a lot more often by sort of those younger people. And then you give it to the beta testers, and all of them are just like, make it harder, make it harder, make it harder, all the time for every level.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that I ever thought of this one being for younger people. A couple of people have mentioned it, but
Oh.
to
Maybe I
me,
dreamed
it's always
this.
been. To me, I guess it's always been just sort of more like, yeah, just leaning into the whimsy and just like trying to expand the palette a bit in terms of what we're, you know, what sort of stuff we're showing off. Or the tones, because with the Lost Cities we have gotten into they all kind of have they all sort of exist in a similar atmosphere, a similar vibe, and since we were in the midst of that Lost Cities series, we really wanted to sort of drop in something that would kind of do something totally, you know, totally different. And this one just really fit that bill so nicely.
Oh, and before we finish up, one last thing on hole 18 at the end. I want to clear up an idea that when I put this in as a fun little joke, it was meant to be the joke that we were playing amongst large candies. So if you had a nice little plate setting, chances are your food would be giant and there would be smaller people playing. But apparently everyone thinks that people who play this are cannibals eating tiny little golfers.
Yep.
Not the
I like the
intent.
darkness.
Corpse.
Yeah, apparently everyone's going, oh, we just ate a little golfer, but it was meant to be sweet and a funny thing, and it's like, oh, there's another level down of golf. It's golf all the way.
Golf all the way down.
Yeah. Just more
Nano
turtles. Mm-hmm.
Yato golf.
Um,
Eco golf.
Oh, there was also there was a couple more comments about the like the pool shot thing or any of that stuff. So, in general, this is what I was starting to say earlier. In general, I've kind of been, my mentality behind a lot of the design stuff has kind of been to try to keep things as open as possible. And so, like, if like the pool shots, like we might be adding, as we add game modes, we might add the ability to flip off certain things. But as just like the base, the normal game, unless there's something that's really a problem, we generally try to kind of keep it consistent and keep it so that you've just got a that there's a lot more that if people are wanting to do, like if you're wanting to do the trick shots, you're wanting to do those other things. We also feel like, especially for the folks who are playing competitively, and I know there's a lot of those folks watching this stream, that, you know, we kind of figured that those communities can kind of police their own. Like if you want to ban pool shots, that's something that you can do. And since everyone's playing in a room, you can just say, no. Take a stroke, tap it backwards or something. There's a lot of ways that if we keep it very simple, it kind of opens up that possibility for different groups to use the game in different ways. So, yeah. So, let's see.
There's a
go
free
ahead,
game
Edward.
mode, basically. If you play on Steam, I don't know who discovered this, I remember you telling me about it, Lucas, you can change the render scale. It's really meant to be just to bump it a couple % in either way, make a game feel more natural, but you can put it to like 500% or 5%, which shrinks or grows the world around you. So if you're playing on Steam, you can play what I call maxi golf, where the golf balls are 1/2 meter wide, or mini golf, where the holes are the golf balls are like 1 millimeter wide. That one is impossible to play with interior spaces because you're not in the interior, being so giant. But they're really, really funny, and I definitely recommend, if you're playing the game on Steam, give that a shot. It's just terrific.
Yeah. Oh, well, I tell you what, so it's only 3:40. We've got a little bit more time. Do we want to maybe just pop into the night mode for a little bit? We should
Yes.
for a little bit, I guess. So Wesley is shooting this. Why don't we all just go in together and we'll just do it in practice mode? Maybe we can just we'll make up the round ourselves for a bit.
Yeah.
There we go. Did everybody make it in okay?
Yep. All in one
Here.
piece.
Everybody made it in okay? Cool.
Here to
I see
enjoy
Wesley on the
Done
stream,
the-
so
Just checking on the FPS again. It seemed like it's fixed.
yeah, there's something. This is the
Watching
first
it
time
myself.
we're streaming to YouTube, so it's a whole different sort of it's a whole different process.
We'll
I was
polish it.
so
We promised to do more streams.
Yeah, we're now that we've got Wesley, who's doing all the video and just a ton of different stuff. It makes it so much easier for us to do more of these, and hopefully we can get a few of you folks from the community, and we can all play around together and stream it more often because it just helps having someone to. Ooh, we should almost no, because then it's just going to be watching people play golf, which is not exactly the reason everybody's here. I was going to say we should just play a speed round and see how quickly we can get it, but we are going to be adding a.
Never done that.
Oh yeah, you haven't? Maybe we'll try it at the very end. It's super fun. But yeah, we are going to be adding game modes, and that's definitely one that's high on the list of ones to do, as well as just being able to play simultaneously. Especially once we open up the rooms to more people, it'll be pretty much necessary. So, yeah. I was so glad that the night mode was so well received. It was the first time that we had ever done again, we didn't necessarily mean for it to lean into the Valentine's thing, specifically the music stuff, quite so hard. But once we did, it was like there was no going back on it. So I'm glad that it was generally pretty well received. Nice shot.
Thank you.
Get a replay on that.
That
Replay.
wasn't a replay. What's really fun?
Here, let me check.
When making levels or modeling, I'll often have, say, an audiobook, podcast, or in some cases a TV show I've seen a million times before in the background that I don't have to watch. I can just hear. And so whenever I'm in a level, I'm often going back to whatever media it was I was consuming. And while working on the hard version of Sweetopia, it was Kath and Kim, the Australian comedy series, which has a lot of very loud, angry romance in it, and it's all I can hear is Australian bogans going, "Oh, it's nice, it's different than usual," every time I'm in this space.
I used to do that
That
more. Like I
influence.
used to have especially when I was doing more screenwriting or just more writing in general, I had playlists kind of for each different project that I was working on. And so like whenever I was writing on one particular script or something, I could just like put on that playlist and it would really help get me back into the mood. Back before COVID, there was even sort of like specific coffee shops and stuff where if I was writing, I would do certain things in certain places just to kind of give yourself that sense of, yeah. It's amazing how much, I think that's actually one of the great things about VR, sort of like you get that sense of space and like playing with people, you remember where you were at when certain things happened, and there's just this very, even though it's virtual, there's still a really strong sense of like, oh yeah, here's where I was on Seagull Stacks when someone said something, or, you know, even had a couple of people propose in game and stuff like that, so.
Oh my goodness, I hope if someone proposes in this level, let me know. I will like design and send you a t-shirt or something. I don't know, it's just amazing. That would make me so beyond happy.
Well, one thing while we're in here, there's let me glance really quick at questions here. Yeah, someone has just commented about like the color changes and everything. So I wonder, we did we kind of did a whole this was the first time we've ever done it for a course. We kind of did a whole palette swap thing where even the stuff that's the same as it was on the easy version of the course changed color.
Yeah.
I have to say that was like super effective in this course, and just like how much it changes the vibe of it. I mean, the lighting is what everyone notices, but there is like all of the trees are now in that same color vein, even like they all got the white trunks, kind of like white chocolate and everything. Edward, that was mostly you. That I think Edward, you did it, and then maybe Craig just polished it as he was doing lighting, right?
I had an attempt at it. I think Craig did a much better attempt. I have a feeling he might have started again. It works for this one because candy can be pretty much any color.
Yeah.
But we had things separated based on whether they were shiny and opaque or shiny and translucent, and etc. And he was able to just replace all of those with sort of pink and whites and reds. A fun thing, when early concept art for this, we had like red icing on everything and a sort of more white level with sort of, and with the lighting, the concept art was beautiful, and I thought, oh, we could maybe do that with a shader. So in Blender, I made a quick shader where I just put a red icing on everything, and it absolutely looked like someone had been murdered across the whole course.
Oh yeah, it was a very red drum, yeah, just like blood scattered all over the snow, sort of. It was dark, yeah. Maybe that'll be we're still thinking of what we're gonna have to do for April Fools. So maybe we could just put that shader on everything or Halloween.
I have such a good
like
idea
that.
for April Fools. I've got a great April Fools idea that you guys can't say on stream because then you shan't be fooled. But there's a thing brewing.
There's so many ideas. We just need to find time to actually execute them. Yeah. Oh, so one thing. I don't think that Chris, the composer, is going to make it, unfortunately. But someone had asked. So we don't have any merch. We have been talking about some stuff, some possibilities around that, but nothing that's 100% yet. So it is something that we might do a little something. Keep an eye out, though. I was hoping that Chris was going to be in here to say it, but we are going to be releasing the soundtrack. I think basically as soon as it's ready. They're just doing the last little bits right now, but yeah, so probably next week is when we're going to be releasing the soundtrack, because a couple people have asked for, to be able to just like listen to Seagull Stacks in their car or something like that. So keep an eye out. We'll put a big post up once it's actually released, but probably sometime next week I think it should be coming. So
Sounds of Walkabout.
The sounds of Walkabout.
Very chill vibe throughout.
Yeah,
I love it.
By the way, the track
love it because
the track name for this was Hard Candy, if anyone cares.
Oh my god. I like that everyone, when playing, everyone has their preference. One of the best things about this game is because there's such variety of courses that there's always a question someone will ask on social media of, oh, what's your least favorite course? And everyone will say something completely different. Same with the music. So I just know that listening to the soundtrack, everyone is going to have one that they skip, but it's going to be completely different. And if we looked at it statistically, I swear it would be the same amount for each one, because there's such a great variety of people who play the game. And and it sort of like encompasses so many different people with so many different tastes.
Yeah. I feel like the music for both of the easy and hard Sweetopia courses, but also just sort of Sweetopia itself has been kind of the most, I don't want to say divisive, but I feel like some people like absolutely love it. Some people aren't as big of fans because it is the most different from a lot of the other ones we've done. But again, that's the nice thing now that we're getting to the point that we're doing more courses and we've got so many in the queue. We can take some bigger risks, because it's not like everyone has to love the next course. If you don't like this one, hang out for a little bit, because the next one's going to be totally different. And I feel like by doing that, we're just going to get a wider variety and do some things that I don't know that there's many other VR games that could do an environment like this. So I just think it lets us, be more creative and do some stuff that you're not going to see in many other VR games. So
absolutely. It was really funny jumping from doing this level to the one that we have yet to announce that I'm doing next, because it's so completely opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I'm happy to announce that it's Rotting Meatland.
Yeah,
That is the next
That's what
level.
everyone's been asking. You've all been asking for it. Yeah.
For
the-
butcher shop abandoned for 20 years land.
The meat locker, yes.
So relaxing.
Coming Christmas 2023. Ugh.
That means it
Yeah.
will be even more rotten by the time they come out.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Awesome.
I could make a golf ball that
Well,
looks like a fly.
well, I think we'll probably start wrapping it up here. Did anyone else? We got just another moment for questions. If anyone's sitting on any of them, or if there's when does the next course come out? We're working on it. You'll be the first to know. Again, we do have dates in mind, but we don't like to announce it just because sometimes they take longer than expected, or sometimes it looks perfect and then you get it in there and try to run it on device and you just have to redo a bunch of stuff because it just can't run on the headset sometimes. So there's a lot of factors that are hard to put in. I think you've inspired some folks with the rotting meat idea, Edward.
Oh, yeah, people are asking about smell-o-vision, which I don't know if that'd be good for any of our courses. So many of them are by the sea, and to me that's always just like, fish. Fishy smells.
Oh yeah, smell-o-vision. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess unfortunately, yeah, we can't quite tease what the next one is. But like I said, everybody stay tuned because there should be some announcements here before too long of a couple of things that we got coming up. So yeah. Well,
Yeah, the
thanks
most
everybody
teased,
for
It's exciting.
yeah. Well, thanks
really
everybody for
exciting.
tuning in. We'll, like I said, we'll try to do some more of these, and hopefully we can get a few of you guys to play with us on the next round. So, everybody, take care. Have a good one. We'll see you around.
Okay, bye.